Welcome back, everybody, to Whatcha Watchin. That's right. That's a show where we watch entertaining movies, or not so entertaining movies, depending on the week, and tell you about them so you can decide for yourself whether you want to watch them or not. That's right. It's called Movie Reviews, and we're actually really good at it. So, we are talking Pumpkinhead. That's right. Before he was Mr. Whalen, before it was Aliens versus Predators, he was Ed Harley. Thanks, everybody. I am one of the hosts of this mess, the Reverend Jeffrey Kelley. That's right. And I got a question for you. What's your trade? That's right. Over there with me, as usual, is the great Collier, Reno Wilmes.
Oh, yeah, guys. What up? And God has already damned me.
That's right. God has already damned me. You'd never know it by looking at him because he's just too damn cute.
Yeah, I'm too damn good looking.
That's right. You know what? I'm too good looking and all other girls are jealous. That's right. Jackie Burkhart, that 70s show. Let's see here. Usually this time of the week is when we start talking about trailer trash talk. So let's just jump right into it, dude. Seriously, Jigsaw. Saw 8. I mean, look, Saw 1 was cool. Saw 1 was a concept. Couple of dudes, brought this little mini friggin' script, filmed a really crappy version of it, and then talked some people into making a really good version of it. At least that's the story that I get from it. But Saw 8? Really? 7 incarnations later? I thought Jigsaw died in like 3. I don't know, man. Did you?
I don't know. I've watched the first one, and I think I watched all the way up to number 3.
Yeah, I think that's as far as I got.
And yeah, I didn't bother after that. I don't give a fuck about Saw. I'm not gonna give a fuck about this one.
It's kind of like Jason 15. Jason.
Yeah. I can tell that they're still not taking themselves seriously at this point because of the point where that like doll wheels out on the tricycle and that guy's like, that's not creepy at all. No. Yeah. I'm just like, oh, okay. It's going to be one of those horror movies that doesn't even try to take itself seriously.
Right.
I like that sometimes, but
we know that you're going to watch it. So regardless of the fact, you're just going to watch it. So that's what's going to happen.
Right. Speaking of, we know you're going to watch it.
That's right. The next one up. Dun, 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 ba, 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 ba.
Nothing but Star Wars. Nothing but Star Wars.
That's right. The Last Jedi, the second trailer. I've got to stop watching it after this because they're going to really give way too much of it away. There's so many fan theories and expert theories and this and that. Has Luke turned bad? Has Rey turned bad? Has Kylo turned good? Is everybody gray? Who the freak knows? I don't know.
The only fan theories I've been looking at are the ones of what is Snoke? Who is Snoke? What is he?
Where did he come from? Who's that Snoke? Where did he come from?
But this is the only good trailer on this list.
Yeah, and we're still going to talk trash about it because let's be honest with you, Luke has fear, and that's not good.
And fear leads to
anger, and anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering.
The dark. Oh yeah, it also leads to the dark side, though.
That's right. It's suffering. It's the dark side. So, is that what Luke's talking about? Where the Jedis must end? He didn't say die. He says the Jedis must end in the first one. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of.
Then again, that could also be like the tail end or like right in the middle of something. Like he could be saying the Jedis must end this, or who knows what the fuck he is saying. These trailers always like to confuse the fuck out of people.
The Jedi's training must end at my taint. I don't know.
Like the trailer for Rogue One. I thought there was going to be way more Darth Vader in it.
Yeah, you would have thought so because they made that like really big at the front of the movie. The Darth Vader was in there like slashing and killing people, but not so much. But Luke's afraid, and that's not a good sign. So, Star Wars,
super spoopy.
The Last Jedi, super spoopy. Hey, I'm spoopy. That's right. Speaking of spoopy, Black Panther. I'm gonna see it because if I don't. I guess I don't know I don't know how I'm supposed to feel as a middle-aged half-white guy these days. I don't really know. Am I allowed to see this movie? Am I not allowed to see this movie? I should support this movie, but I shouldn't go watch
give
it.
A fuck.
I shouldn't appropriate. I don't know. The rap music based in Africa was a little kind of offensive to me.
I'm gonna even give this movie it's just this time I have to watch it for this show. Just am getting burned out on superhero movies.
Yeah, I doubt very seriously that I'm gonna make anybody watch this.
The fact that I'm a DC superhero movies.
Yeah, and I almost put that new friggin' the Black Superman has been released and going to be part of the Justice League. Blah 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 crud up there, but I decided no. We'll do this instead.
I think you should have put the trailer to the new X-Men movie because that looks like a fucking horror movie.
God. Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. Somebody tell me whether I'm allowed to watch
this trailer is so dull that we're talking about other trailers now.
Yeah, there you go. So, Black Panther, yay or not. Hey, Cole, I got a question for you, though.
I might have an answer.
What you watching?
Oh, well, I've been watching some super spoopy shit, man.
Shit's super spoopy. I'm super spoopy. Yeah, you've been watching Family Guy way too much.
No, I haven't. I've been watching this. This was actually given... Despite what the tomato meter has you thinking, this was actually a pretty interesting horror movie. I actually recommended it to Rev for something we could watch. He kind of turned it down, and I think he missed out, Rev. It was actually pretty kind of fucked up. It has like this weird guy who's been a whipping boy all his life. His mom fucking dies, and now he's running loose about the castle, and he bites the nipples off of naked ladies. And actually eats out.
Rated R. That's right.
Yeah.
The show is for adults by adults. If you're not an adult and you're watching this, Christopher, make sure your mother knows what we're talking about. After Castle Freak, you moved on down the line to an original.
Well, oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Was this the original? Was 1960 the original?
Yeah, it was. Although there's literally no difference between it and the remake in 1998, since that was a shot remake just with Vince Vaughn for some reason.
Yeah, that was such a great movie. It was definitely.
Don't you know? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The Bates Motel. When I lived in Orlando, they actually had the house from Psycho at the Universal Studios Park in Orlando, right down from right across from the Hard Rock.
I thought that was going to be in the California one because I was on the where the Universal backlot is.
Yeah, well, they moved it to Florida, or they rebuilt it, one or the other, because I looked at it for years. When you came in the park,
pretty sure it's rebuilt.
When you came through the park through the Hard Rock Hotel entrance, the Psycho house was up on the hill just from the other side of it. I don't know why they would rebuild it. It'd be a whole lot easier to take it down. I mean, it was a set, but whatever the case. It was there for years, and then they moved it. So maybe they moved it out here to Hollywood, after the case. But it was awesome to just every time we used to go out to what's called Halloween Horror Nights, and the Psycho they'd have a haunted house in one of the buildings right near the Psycho house, and it was always just so creepy because you'd walk past it to get to the haunted house.
Right.
Anyhow,
what'd
you think of this one?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, I on again, off again type of movies where it would, I guess, because of the fact that it's an older movie and it's not as paced quite the same as modern movies would be. It kind of, my interest dulled at points, and then it would pick back up, then it would dull that back down.
Yeah, it really was that way. They tried to do the A&E did the series. It was horrible.
Hotel series.
Just freaking horrible. I watched the first season of it. It was horrible. And the second season came on, and I just didn't watch it, so it was just terrible.
Yeah, I just picked this up just to see what all the hubbub was about, and I can see it was a nice precursor to all the slasher movies that would come after.
The Birds and all of those black and white flicks from the 60s that didn't.
The Birds wasn't black and white though.
No, it wasn't, but it was of the same era, the same type of.
The Birds was definitely a better movie though.
I agree. I mean, people are still afraid of birds to this day.
Fucking birds.
And then, of course, you're foreshadowing our next week's show with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh yeah, I don't get what people fucking hate about this movie. I think it's just
the remake is a better movie, if you ask me. We'll talk about that next week. But I'm a fan of the remake on this one over the original.
Yeah, right. I think it's because it's a remake that it's probably getting that bad score. That's my guess, at least.
Because if you remember a couple of weeks back, I watched the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the show, and I wasn't impressed. I just wasn't.
Right.
Anyhow, tell us about this one. What you thought?
Yeah. Anyways, I'll probably go more in depth next week, but I give it a thumbs up. Definitely check it out for next week, guys.
Yeah, no idea why the critics gave it a 36%.
It's a remake.
Screw them.
Fuck them.
It's Jessica Alba.
Oh, yeah. That booty, though. Possible pregnant Jessica Alba in the movie, of course. Not in real life.
Right, because, Ben Affleck never got it done.
No, that's good. Good for Batfleck. Anyways, Rev.
Yeah.
Are you listening?
I am listening.
What the fuck have you been watching? Have you been watching more of Babysitters Being Plowed 13?
No, absolutely not. Actually, I was watching some fun stuff this week. Austin Powers, the spy who shags me. Who shags me. That's right. I wanna hump a lot. I mean, come on, dude. It's Sally from the Third Rock from the Sun. Are you kidding me? One of the hottest Amazon gargantuan women on the planet. Oh, she can eat crackers in my bed anytime. Woo! And then to add Felicity Shagswell. Yeah, Shagswell by name, shags very well by reputation. Yeah. And I got a whole bag of over here for you, Scotty. Right over here. Just a no, Scotty, don't.
I think this is just your way of trying to cover up the fact that you were watching BBC Babysitters 13. There was some shagging in that movie too.
Let's leave that talk out for Dixon Holes on Sunday night.
With Rev and Cole.
But I love the Austin Powers movies, all three of them. This is the one that I caught this week. Rob Lowe playing against Robert Wagner as old and young number 2 was hysterical. It's just everything. Old and young Austin having a 3-way with Felicity. There's so many funny gags in this that are just they tickle my funny bone and all. Fat bastard, the looks that he gives people is just astounding.
I want my baby back ribs.
That it's literally all one guy. It just makes it kills me. It's just Mike Myers has always had my funny bone. I don't care. People say from Wayne's World on. We used to sit and beg for Wayne's World to come on Saturday Night Live. Oh my God, it was like one of the funniest skits they did at the time. Anyhow, I digress into something even more goofy. But something that I really like the way that they're filmed is the Men in Black movies. Now, this one I was watching Men in Black 2. Oh, come on, Kay. Oh, back in the day, you say, I love to get flushed. Come on, flush me, Jay. Flush me.
You definitely chose the low point of the series.
I don't know about that, to be honest with you. I think Men in Black 2 is a better movie than Men in Black 3. Honestly,
I never really seen 3, so.
Well, there you go. Then how do you know that this is the low point in the series? It got worse.
So I kind of forget that there was a third one.
Yeah, there was a third one. Yeah, and the franchise. Yeah, right. Just like, all right. And Underworld Blood Wars didn't happen either, right?
It didn't. There was no Blood Wars. There was no evolution. Well, wait, though there was evolution. There was no awakening. That's the other one that people like to say happened, but it didn't.
Dino Part 2 with Jeff Goldblum. I mean, they just totally ripped off Jurassic. Totally ripped off Jurassic Park. Anyhow,
Rev, that is called The Lost World. Jurassic Park.
Yeah, the whole Light of Zartha was a little bit of a weak plot line, but what do you expect? It's a comic book movie. You can't expect it to be any better than
kind of makes me think of episode 1 of Star Wars with the fucking CG Gungan fat ass. That's like holding up that.
Oh leg. God! Speaking of that Pogwidgey thing, that Tribble or whatever the freak that thing was in the damn Jedi area in the Star Wars. Like, oh God, another Jar Jar. Great. I can't wait for that.
I would take Ewok over Jar Jar. Hopefully they're Ewoks.
Well, I don't know. They look totally smooth, round, plastic CGI to me, much like Jar Jar crinks. Okay, and then I finished up what I was watching with finally a horror movie, From Dusk Till Dawn. Now, we've done this as a feature, and I've watched this. Yeah, I can't help it, man. My damn phone will not type From Dusk Till Dawn, and apparently, well, I was going to say Chrome doesn't want to display it either. Critics give this one a 64% over the public, who gives it a 76%.
And I give it a 100%.
George Clooney, Quentin Tarantino as the Gecko brothers. I believed they were the Gecko brothers. I really believe
that is
that
true.
Quentin Tarantino was Richie and just fucked in the brain. I mean, he just didn't get it. Those things he was doing wasn't normal. He just didn't understand it. He just get it.
And I hear that character also believed in 38 genders.
What I don't understand, though, is why, when he turned into a vampire, he wanted to kill his own brother. That they have control. That was kind of a weak point. It was a kind of weak point in my blood. I mean, why wouldn't you want to turn your brother rather than kill him? Anyhow, I mean, seriously,
pretty sure the vampirism didn't mix well with his mental shit, so he went fucking bonkers.
How much damage could you do as the immortal vampire Gecko brothers?
There, now you can go and pitch that for the season 2 of From Dusk Till Dawn.
They totally lost. They totally missed out the idea. Well, they brought Richie back as a damn vampire. That whole plot line, God bless them, whatever. Anyhow, that was the crap storm that I was watching this week. Overall, had a good week. Spent a lot of time listening to music more than watching TV this week, which is okay, I guess, if you run a music podcast as well as a movie podcast. Hey, it's time to go out there and say hi to our 5 or 6 friends that are hanging out live and watching us tonight. Let's go see who's in the Hangout live Hangout tonight. Let's see here. What you watching? Live chat room. Screaming Mimis. There's a Squatch Box out there. How you doing there, Miss Squatch Box? Which means
hi, Squatch. Hi, Cassie. Hi, Christopher. You better be behaving, Christopher.
Remember Christopher.
God damn it. Christopher messaged me in the middle of the night one night saying he found my twin. He looked nothing like me. He was a little fuck boy.
Potatoes are a vegetable.
Yes,
so is corn. So is green beans.
Oh,
that's right. There's Gary and Whitney White. They are out there bringing food to the table as usual. Hello, guys. I think they're actually on
vacation. That's glad. I always enjoy when they bring food to my table.
Bringing food to everybody's table. They bring in truckloads of that stuff. You couldn't eat what's in the back of their truck if you tried. Starshine, how you doing there, girl?
My immortal enemy. We are here to do battle yet again.
Dupree. He's always in the place.
He's always in the place to be.
Mr. Kurt Harris, how are you doing, sir?
What up, Kurt?
Mr. Dean
Harris.
Cooper. Hey, did I mention Lance Windsor?
No, you did not.
I mentioned. Hi, Lance. So glad you're out there, sir.
What up, Lance?
Mr. Sam Squanch Rivera, he's hanging out there as well. Hello,
Sammy boy.
Hello, sir. Hello, Clarice.
Hello, Clarice.
for too long, everybody out there in the Hangout's going to have a tool.
It'll be a battle of the tools.
It'll be a battle of the tools, and they'll all be muting each other. All right. Well, that's literally the bottom of the list tonight. So
mute us.
That's right. Well, that's absolutely right. They cannot mute us. Thank you guys for being out there.
On that note.
If you want to join us live, you join us here on Tuesday nights now. Tuesday at 8 p.m. Pacific, because that jackass is working through the weekends now. Some weird shifts or something.
Yeah, the job, they decided to be like fucking weird and be like, I don't know why, but we're just gonna put it like switch the friggin' schedule around. I don't fucking know. Working in film's weird sometimes, guys.
Yeah, working in film is weird. So we're here to talk about Pumpkinhead. Stan Winston, Harvey Keitel. No, that's not Harvey Keitel. That's what's that guy's name?
Lance Hendrickson.
Lance Hendrickson. Is it Mr. Whalen? Before he was Mr. Whalen. No. Before he was Mr. Whalen. Before it was Aliens versus Predator. It was.
I think this came out actually after Aliens.
Did it?
Or at least after they worked on Aliens.
I don't know. It was great though.
Yeah, it was.
Why don't you sum this one up for us there? Reno.
So basically, this is a 80s horror movie where you got a bunch of your typical gaggle of teens that are just cannon fodder. Basically, that's all they are. We know that by now. That's why we're here. So the basic synopsis here is they kill Lance Hendrickson's son by accident, granted, but still, it's because somebody was a fucking idiot.
That poor little kid.
Oh yeah, that's.
He reminded
me around to that.
Yeah, he reminded me of that kid from Jerry Maguire. The human head weighs 8 pounds.
So, how does the teen? What is the villain of the movie? Well, obviously Pumpkinhead, because that's the title of the movie. So he basically goes to this witch who can conjure up this demon that is a demon of vengeance named Pumpkinhead. And then he goes on a murder spree. So let's get into what we liked and disliked. Rev, what was your favorite parts of the movie?
It to be murder, you hear?
I do
murder. There wasn't what did I like about the holy crap? I liked a lot about this movie. I liked the sets of this movie. It was one of the things that I could tell, especially with as much movie watching as I can do. I can tell when they're in a natural location, whether they're in an artificial location. And the only thing that was natural about the location that they were in was basically where they were riding the dirt bikes. Outside of those scenes, everything was a controlled environment. It was like Dusk forever. I mean, it was just, the sun never rose or set. They couldn't really tell what time it was ever. You could tell that it was before dark when he went up to the Dirtball's house. Right. Yeah, there's the way it was, the lighting, the feeling of everything was really, really slick. The storytelling was a little drawn out in the beginning. Being an award-winning scriptwriter myself, the introduction to the characters, where you try to get the audience to either like them or hate them, wasn't very well done. That's one of the things, the character introductions of the kids were just kind of like a secondary thought. They were like, whatever, you're gonna hate them anyhow, so fuck it, they're not really that important. Didn't really know why they were going where they were going. There was no backstory to whose cabin it was. I mean, there were some fine details that may have brought the story a little bit forward in those beginning parts, but after that, I mean, really, it was kind of moot, because they were all assholes except for the two girls. And
which, granted, I will agree with you that the main characters were kind of very weak, but really where this movie obviously shines is with Lance Henriksen as the main character.
Yeah, I mean that dude could fart on a snare drum for 40 minutes and they'd call it film. I mean, I mean, it doesn't really matter what Lance does. The creature, though, once the creature was brought forward, it was the star.
I was gonna say when the creature, the moment that they resurrect the creature, that's my favorite part. It becomes the atmosphere. Also, I love because it feels very much like it can belong within the realm of those universal horror movies like The Wolf Man or Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Especially with the fact that there was like you said, a bunch of controlled sets. I really like that style, by the way, where it's
which one is your favorite character out of all the characters? Out of all the characters in the script, which is your favorite character out of all of them?
That's probably a draw between Lance Henriksen and the witch.
See, my favorite character out of all of them is the hero, the little dirtball boy.
Right.
Seriously. No, I mean, he really delivered some powerful scenes in that movie that, had he not, would have made that movie a lot more shittier than it was. The scene between him and Lance, when he's, hey, I heard you talking to my grandpa, and I know where that crazy bitch lives. Like, I'll go with you, but I'm only going half the way. That bitch scares the shit out of me. I mean, that kid was probably older than the age that they were having him play, but throughout the movie, I mean, really, he advanced the storyline almost every step of the way.
Yeah, because he was the first one to actually mention Pumpkinhead at all. Yeah,
well, the kids were at the thing, they were dancing around talking about Pumpkinhead.
Well, no, remember when the one kid stole the ball, and then he's like, "Oh,
right. That's right. Wrong. You did wrong, Billy. That's
you know what happens when you do wrong.
You know what happens when you do wrong. Pumpkinhead comes for you. Pumpkin.
Yeah, too bad that was character.
That scene was like intense, man. All them little dirtball kids surrounding that little. Stop it! I mean, I would have screamed at them too. Knock it off, you little bastards!
Hey, you little bastard!
What's wrong with you? But he was going to steal that little dog's ball, boy.
Oh, yeah.
And what was wrong with Billy? Why didn't they give us an explanation as to somewhere along the line as to what the fuck was wrong with Billy? Because there was obviously something wrong with it. But it couldn't have been too much wrong with him because Lance left him in the damn shop in charge. Now you stay here and mind things, boy. I'm gonna
there was
ride
something
up
wrong with them.
Oh, he had Coke bottles for glasses. There were definitely something wrong with him. I mean, that's what the whole.
I think that's just that they were fucking poor. In the middle of the day.
No, dude. No. Those were real eyeglasses. Those were not Coke bottle ends made with wire around them.
I didn't fucking care.
That city kid pointing it out was supposed to kind of lean you towards, that there was something physically wrong with Billy. But because.
Well, I didn't really get that whole thing. I just thought, yeah, they're just in the middle of nowhere. Something obviously happened to the mother.
Yeah, that was weird too. That we didn't really get any explanation of. They killed our boy. They killed our boy, baby. They killed him, and that's it. I mean, that's all right. You buried him next to his mama, I guess. Well,
I feel like that's really all you need is. I felt like going into something like that definitely would have just dragged the pacing down if they had it.
It may have, because at that particular time was when Pumpkinhead was being born too.
Yeah, right.
Because he had already had the ceremony with the witch where she took the blood from both of them.
Right.
Right.
Now
the way they evolved the monster through the movie, they had to have had like 20 different monsters. I mean.
They had like a good few. I've seen like the behind the scenes stuff because there's now a behind the scenes thing up on the Stan Winston School of Character Arts with interviews from the effects people that worked on it. Progressively looked slightly more like the main guy, Lance Henriksen, and they had some makeups for Lance to kind of.
I just want to know how you shoot yourself in the friggin' forehead and survive.
The fact that he is connected to a demon, obviously. Have you ever been connected to a demon, Rev?
No, I've never been connected to a demon and shot myself in the forehead. No, I've never done that.
Like sharing the victims of your vengeance demon's pain?
Oh, see, I didn't understand that either. Why was he feeling the pain of the victims if he was the demon inflicting them? I didn't get that. That didn't.
Well, I'm guessing that it was mostly because there had to be a cost to the fact that he brought this, helped to bring forth this vengeance demon. Kind of like that whole monkey's paw thing. You get what you wanted, but there's a cost to it. Yeah.
Needful things. You know, I'll give you what you think you want, but in the end, it'll kill you.
Right. And this did happen. Lance Henriksen.
The little dirtball kid hiding in the closet, and then the monster comes in, looks around, and all the drool dripping out of his teeth and everything, and it goes
right.
And then comes.
I think that is like the most iconic shot
for the cheap thrill. Yeah, Rawr! Grabs him by the throat.
Oh, and oh my god, I wanted to mention one thing before we get into the cons of this movie that I especially loved. Dude, the soundtrack to this. Like every time you hear Pumpkinhead is getting near or is on screen, you hear that. Is it like crickets chirping? But it sounds like a bug chirping.
It's cicadas is what it is. It's a
cicadas.
It's a cicada sound. It's a what it is their bodies are molting and they're rattling in their shells as they're shaking them off. And that's the sound that you actually show. It's almost like a snake rattle, right. But it's only one rattle per cicada. But there's 30,000 cicadas out there,
right?
So it's it's just, and then either the demon was getting stronger with each kill. I'm not really sure because in the beginning when the demon would show up, it would just be like, "Rawr, rawr, I'm a dead gator. I'm dragging you by your feet. Rawr. I'm going to climb up a tree and hold you by your head. Rawr." But by the middle of the film, I guess this is going into my cons part of it. I'm sorry. By the middle of the film, all of a sudden, he's arriving with cicadas and strobe lights and the sound of lightning and smoke. And, there's all that going on along. I mean, I just don't understand what's generating that part of it. I don't know. Just one of those things.
Or what?
No, like the light.
Oh, the lighting.
The lighting of the monster as the movie progressed as the monster became more powerful, all of a sudden now there's strobe lights and just things that didn't make any sound of lightning and just stuff that just didn't quite make any sense as to where it would have come from. It's what?
There's a thing called atmosphere, Rev.
Yeah, I understand atmosphere, but in the same token, it wasn't there in the beginning. Then all of a sudden, then it's there. Then at the end, it isn't. It was one of those inconsistent things. Is I guess where I was going with the con on that. It wasn't there in the beginning through the first couple of kills, and all of a sudden when it's at the church with them, and the next time it shows up in the house, it's there. But then when they're outside shooting it, it's not. And then when Whalen shows up, it's not. And then when Whalen shoots himself in the head in the truck, it's not. And when he's out there killing that other kid, it's not. You get my point?
Yeah, continuity.
It was just. Whatever. It just got to be, is it supernatural, sparkly, flashy things all the time, or is it just, it's that particular church scene? Right. I don't know. It was just one of those things that was a little strange.
As far as my cons, I mentioned it before. I did not care for the main characters. Like, this is something that at this point in like the horror slasher genre in the 80s, they're kind of half-assing.
Yeah, because you knew the formula. You knew the formula to what a horror movie was, and that's exactly what you got.
But there was still like horror movies that at least tried with the characters that because believe it or not, originally in slasher movies, you were supposed to root for the people that got killed. You were supposed to kind of feel bad.
Right. Originally. But then writers like me realized that audiences appreciated the hating of characters and the rooting for the bad guys, so they actually began writing the movies that way. Sort of like, one of the last couple that I've written. I'm being totally gratuitous to horror flick movie goers.
Right, but in this case, I feel like that using that thing kind of worked against the movie, though, because the reason for Pumpkinhead being summoned forth.
I totally agree.
You're supposed to feel for the fact that their accident cost them their lives.
Right, I totally agree.
And of course, the biggest dickhead in the group is one of the last guys to die. I fucking hope that happens.
That's the beginning of the movie, the setup of the movie, where Whalen was a kid, and the guy was banging on the door, and you understand that Pumpkinhead comes for bad people. Well, why can't you let him in, Paul? Why can't you help him? We just can't, baby. We just can't.
He's been marked.
Right. So like that makes you understand the seriousness of which Pumpkinhead exists. He knew what he was doing when he conjured that thing.
Right. My God, that opening is one of the best openings to a horror movie that I've seen.
Yeah, it really, really was. I mean, I couldn't tell where they were supposed to be. Maybe Appalachia, maybe somewhere, high
in the Appalachians.
High in the ridges of West Virginia or something. Who knows where the heck they were? The Wallers. Because they went down to Boar Holler or something, or Razorback Holler, or whatever the hell it was, into the pumpkin graveyard to dig the damn thing up. That was a great set. The pumpkin graveyard with the raised grave of the demon. That was very, very cool. It reminded me, and of course, it's the other way around. Sleepy Hollow's grave of the Horseman,
right?
It's very similar. Right, it was very, very similar to to this one. So,
or should we say that Sleepy Hollow is similar to this? Because since this,
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I said. It's actually reverse what I'm saying, but they are reminiscent of each other. You can see where the effects people in Sleepy Hollow took cues directly from the pumpkin scene, from the pumpkin graveyard scene in this movie.
Who knows if they?
Well, there's a lot of similarities to it. Let's just put it that way.
Right.
And besides, who as an FX person hasn't seen Pumpkinhead? I mean, the practical effects in this movie are so great. I mean, what was?
Well, there wasn't any CGI. I'm just saying, like. Also, this was before CGI. That didn't come. Well, CGI was there, but it was like
expensive, very, very expensive.
Shit, CGI. Yeah. It was like we're at this point. I think they were like Tron CGI.
It was like popcorn floating through the sky with a rainbow coming out of his butt. I mean, you really could tell that it was CGI. But I mean, man, for the small set, the control. I mean, they never drove any more than 100 feet. It was great. I enjoyed it, but you could tell that it was a movie set, and some of the props, some of the prop work was weak. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. Some of the filming of the use of props was very weak. And I would think, being directed by Stan Winston, who was also in charge of the effects, he would have caught some of those. Like when the witch cuts Whalen's hand, I keep calling him Whalen, but when the witch cuts Ed's hand, you can literally see the blood pumping out of the handle of the knife and running down the blade, rather than anything else. I mean, there's no other place that blood could have come from. It literally ran down the blade and down his hand, and I was just like, oh, what a fail. And it was a close-up. I mean, if you're going to do it that way, fine, but don't do a close-up of the hand cutting. That's just fucking dumb.
All I can say is Stan was just having a fun with this movie from the interviews I've heard.
I understand he was having fun with it, but the people who were paying for it sure as hell didn't want to see a failed prop effect. They can be picked out that easily.
It was still a good movie.
Oh, it was still a good movie. Fantastic movie. I mean, I can't really say
one failed prop knife won't fail the whole movie.
No boobies in the movie. It was kind of a fail for me. I love boobies in 80s.
I don't think you needed boobies for this movie.
I didn't need them, but damn it, it would have been fun to have some. So
I get it. You want boobies.
Your booby count in this one is 0, Christopher. You won't see any boobies in this one. However,
but still watch it.
Yeah, the little dirtball girl in her nightie, though, that was kind of weird. I didn't understand what was going on there. Boys and girls sleeping in the same room in their teens was a little bit strange to me. But maybe they only had one bedroom. I don't know. They was some poor ass people.
They were some po-ass people with their kinfolk. And before we end this, I want to say this is one of the most exceptional of the 80s horror movies, at least late 80s. Out.
Yeah, I give it 2 thumbs up. I mean, this was my recommendation this week, so I win. Yay me!
Oh, yeah.
I win. I win October.
To be fair, I already saw this movie, so.
Well, of course you did. You went to Stan Winston school. You damn well better watch this movie. Well, look at that. It's time to wrap this sucker up.
Right. You know, they're always making versus movies. So we need to make a Pumpkinhead versus Jeepers Creepers movie.
You can find us on Facebook at Whatcha Watchin. I think. Watching vids. I don't know. Facebook.com.
Like and subscribe, dudes.
YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we're on. Tuesday nights for a while. Till the end of November.
That might change.
Who knows? One way or the other, it's a fun show to watch. Glad you were here. We'll see you next week. Until then.
Oh, yeah.